Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address a video address on the occasion of 5th anniversary of the launch of Skill India mission and on World Youth Skill Day. A digital conclave has been organized by the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship to mark the occasion. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to hold a virtual summit with European Union leaders. Trade and investment likely to remain the focus of the summit. Fight against COVID-19 and research and development on a vaccine also on the agenda. The Ashok Gehlot-led Congress government in Rajasthan continues to battle a political crisis after sacking Sachin Pilot and his loyalists. Chief Minister holds an emergency cabinet meeting. BJP calls for an immediate floor test in the assembly. India and China conclude the 4th round of military talks in Ladakh to de-escalate tensions along the LAC. The talks focused on complete disengagement from Finger 4 of Pangong and Dipsang plains. Flood situation in Assam keeps worsening further due to incessant rainfall affecting 33 lakh people. 9 more people lose their lives due to floods, taking the death toll to 59. In Bihar, the flood situation remains serious as Koshi, Bagmati, Kamla Balan flow over the danger mark. Water level of Ganga steadies in Patna. Union HRD Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank releases Pragyata guidelines on digital education. Guidelines place cap on 2 online sessions each day for classes 1 to 8 and 4 sessions for classes 9 to 12. The number of people recovering from COVID-19 in India is nearly twice the number of people getting infected. Health Ministry says India is a major player in vaccine development, asks states to ramp up testing. Bihar announces a complete lockdown from 16 to 31st of July. Bengaluru goes under complete lockdown till 22nd of July. US President Donald Trump signs Hong Kong Autonomy Act ending city's preferential trade status, calls WHO puppet of China and holds China responsible for concealing the virus and unleashing it upon the world. Trump administration revokes controversial directive on international students' visa. Good morning. Welcome to English News. I am Anil Thomas. Now for the stories in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will deliver a video address to mark the World Youth Skills Day. The Skill India mission was launched 5 years ago on this day. A digital conclave is also being organized by the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship to mark the occasion. Skill India is an initiative of the central government which was launched to empower the youth with skill sets which make them more employable and more productive in their work environment. It offers courses across several sectors which are aligned to the standards recognized by both the industry and the government under the National Skill Qualification Framework. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will hold a virtual summit with European Union leaders today. A range of bilateral, regional and global issues of interest to India and the EU will figure in the talks, including trade and investment. Also on the agenda is the fight against COVID-19 and research and development on a vaccine for it. More in this report.
The 15th summit between India and the European Union will be held on 15 July via video conference. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be holding talks with the President of the European Council, Charles Michel, and the President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen. The EU High Representative for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy, Joseph Borrell, will also participate in the talks. The summit will be an opportunity to strengthen the EU-India strategic and trade partnership. The European Union is India's largest trading partner, whilst India is the EU's 9th largest partner. The latest data on trade in bilateral goods and services registers nearly $150 billion. Both sides are also willing to re-engage for negotiations for a comprehensive and mutually beneficial free trade agreement. The EU is the second largest destination for Indian exports after USA. The EU's share in foreign investment inflows to India more than doubled from 8% to 18% in the last decade, making the EU the first foreign investor in India. EU foreign direct investment stocks in India is significant. Some 6,000 European companies are present in India, providing directly 1.7 million jobs and indirectly 5 million jobs in a broad range of sectors. Indian companies invested over 50 billion euros in Europe since 2000. The summit is happening at a time when the world is fighting the COVID-19 pandemic. The summit will be an opportunity to discuss and identify synergies in healthcare, the production of pharmaceuticals and vaccines, research and development, diagnostics and treatment. The leaders are expected to call for the future COVID-19 vaccine to become a global common good. The EUIndia Summit will also delve upon global and regional issues. The leaders are expected to reaffirm their determination to promote effective multilateralism and the rules-based multilateral order with the United Nations and the World Trade Organization at its core. At the summit, the discussion is also expected on a number of pressing situations in the EU's and India's immediate neighborhoods. Sources said that the ongoing tension along the line of actual control with China, cross-border terrorism emanating from Pakistan and prospects for peace in Afghanistan may also come up for discussion during the summit. The leaders will also discuss ways to harness human-centric digitalization to develop inclusive economies and societies, including as regards data protection, 5G and artificial intelligence. Towards the conclusion, a futuristic document, a roadmap to 2025, is expected to be adopted by both the sides. The document will guide cooperation between the EU and India over the next 5 years. With inputs from Abhishek Jha, Bureau Report, DD India.
Well, at that European meet there, Prime Minister Narendra Modi to pitch for an early harvest agreement will convey India's position there on key issues like trade, investments, that could be up for discussions. Also to secure closer ties with the European Union will be both on the agenda when it comes to economic as well as political affairs or concerns over China that could be up for discussion in that important meeting that the Prime Minister is going to address virtually. And Abhishek Jha, our correspondent, joining us with more inputs. Well, Abhishek, looking at this particular virtual meeting that the Prime Minister has today morning, what's in store? What does Prime Minister there offer, or what does Prime Minister offer in terms of India's position on key trade, investment as well as political issues that are political and economic issues that are of concerns with regards to China?
Okay, I think this whole thing is happening in the background of the global pandemic, COVID,
Agreed.
Which every country is trying to, fight it out. So now the first thing that the leaders on both sides are going to discuss about this the COVID thing and how India and European Union can collaborate and cooperate on that. That includes research, diagnostic, ensuring medical supplies to the people. The major second thing is that India and EU have been talking about their free trade agreement so that they can have better market access and the better, investment opportunity in each other's area. That is one thing that might come on the table for discussion, and there can be some progress on that, because this is not something that is one-time discussion. This is going to happen in a time-bound manner where India and EU will have their opinion and their concerns expressed to each other, and accordingly a free trade agreement can be reached out. Okay. The third major thing will be Prime Ministers discussing the immediate neighborhood and India's concern, what is happening on the borders, what is happening on cross-border terrorism. So these are also issues that India, from the point of India, that is going to be discussed at European Union Summit.
Okay, one quick word before I let you go. Keep that brief. Is there India looking at a partnership with European Union with regards to a possible cure when it comes to the virus for COVID-19? You set the framework, but you bring that a large and low cost production that we would bring to the table. So is there an amalgamation of ideas or a symbiosis of ideas that we're looking at that could be up for discussion when it comes to COVID-19?
Of course. Of course, Anil, India is, world's 60% or more vaccines are manufactured in India. So in any case, be it European Union, USA, or around the world, if any country gets a breakthrough in COVID vaccine, India is one country they cannot ignore. They have to depend on that for a accessible, affordable, and bulk supply of vaccines. So India is going to be, of course, the partner in COVID vaccine manufacturing, even with EU if they happen to find a breakthrough in that.
Okay, we'll leave it there, but let's, just like there has been a digital push by the global markets taking a closer look at India, let's hope at European Union to bring something to the table that could be a win-win situation for both of us. Well, moving on now to Rajasthan, the Congress on Tuesday cracked down on Sachin Pilot, stripping the leader of the posts of Rajasthan Deputy Chief Minister and the party's state unit president, and sacking 2 loyalists from the state cabinet. Though the party seems to have the numbers for now to hang on to power in Rajasthan, the development deepens the crisis in the Congress, which has lost 2 major states, Karnataka and Madhya Pradesh, over the past year. Ministers Vishwendra Singh and Ramesh Meena were also removed from the cabinet after a meeting of the Congress Legislative Party, its second in the last 48 hours. The meeting was billed as a second chance for Pilot, who had turned down appeals from the party top leadership that included Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi to return to the fold. Pilot has been upset since the Congress picked Ashok Gehlot as the chief minister after the 2018 assembly polls, while his own supporters insisted he deserved credit for the party's victory as the state unit president. His next move is not immediately clear. During the run-up to Tuesday's CLP meeting, his supporters insisted he has no plans to join the Bharatiya Janata Party. They said their aim was a leadership change in Rajasthan. Gehlot accused his former deputy of playing into the hands of the BJP. Rajasthan Chief Minister also held an emergency cabinet meeting on Tuesday night in which many decisions were taken.
कांग्रेस पार्टी ने कुछ निर्णय लिए हैं जिनकी व्याख्या करने के लिए बीच में आपके मैं उपस्थित हूं। पहली बात, श्री सचिन पायलट जी को, श्री विश्वेंद्र सिंह जी को और मीना जी और श्री रमेश मीना जी को मंत्री पद के भार से फौरी तौर से मुक्त किया जाता है। दूसरा, हमारे बहुत तजर्बेकार और काबिल साथी गोविंद सिंह दोतासरा जी को राजस्थान प्रदेश कांग्रेस कमेटी का नया अध्यक्ष बनाया जाता है। हमारे साथी गणेश गोगरा विधायक को राजस्थान प्रांत युवा कांग्रेस का नया अध्यक्ष नियुक्त किया जाता है। हमारे एक और साथी हेम सिंह शेखावत जी को राजस्थान प्रदेश सेवा दल का नया अध्यक्ष नियुक्त किया जाता है।
In a first reaction on Twitter, a defiant Sachin Pilot said that the truth can be scuttled but not defeated. He has changed his status on the microblogging site to MLA former minister. Rajasthan BJP has said that the Congress has lost the majority in the assembly and the test could be done on the floor of the House. Reacting to the development in Congress, BJP senior leader Gulab Chandra Kataria said Congress has lost the mandate and it should prove its majority.
हम तो ये आज की तारीख में मानते हैं कि ये सरकार जनता का विश्वास खो चुकी है। इसके पास बहुमत नहीं है। प्रमाणित करना चाहे तो हाउस ही प्रमाणित कर सकता है और कोई प्रमाणित करने वाली संस्था है नहीं।
Meanwhile, BJP will now hold a meeting in Jaipur today over the current political situation in the state. Vasundhara Raje, the former chief minister of the state, is also expected to attend the meeting. She is currently in Dholpur. The fourth round of military talks between India and China concluded at Chushul, the Moldo border post in eastern Ladakh. It followed the last such meeting held on 30th of June and the talks between National Security Advisor Ajit Doval and the Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi on July 5th. Tuesday's talks were seen as an attempt to start phase 2 of the disengagement along the line of actual control. The general officers commanding of the Fire and Fury Corps, Lieutenant General Harinder Singh, welcomed his Chinese counterpart, the military province commander, Major General Lu Lin. Their talks mainly focused on the implementation of agreement reached in the previous meetings. But the thrust was on complete disengagement at Finger 4 and further at Pangong and Deep Sang plains. Lieutenant General Singh will brief senior army officials about the outcome of the talks. Flood situations in Bihar and Assam. Starting first up with Bihar, the flood situation in Bihar has once again forced poor people out of their homes. Several new areas have started submerging in flood waters. Although in some good news, the water levels of Ganga is now steady and is flowing 1.5 meters below the danger mark at Gandhi Ghat in Patna. The water level has however increased in Bagmati river due to heavy rain and water released by Nepal. The rainfall has been heavy, but the situation is under control. The Water Resource Department is monitoring the situation constantly, and the DMs have been put on high alert to meet any eventuality. IMD has predicted heavy to heavy rainfall at isolated places in Bihar till today, while thunderstorm accompanied with lightning might also occur at some places across the state. Moving to Assam, where the flood situation has worsened further due to incessant rainfall in many parts of the state, resulting in the rise in the number of affected people to 32,94,127, the highest so far in the state. Barpeta district remains the worst hit with about 5 lakh people affected, followed by South Salmara and Morigaon district. As many as 3,371 villages under 92 revenue circles in 28 districts of the 33 are reeling under water, while about 1,28,000 hectares of cropland are submerged. As 9 more people lost their lives due to the floods in the last 24 hours, the death toll has now risen to 59 in the state of Assam. More than 44,000 inmates are taking shelter in the 517 relief camps and centers across the state. In the Kaziranga National Park, also 173 camps are inundated as 95% of its total area is submerged. NDRF teams along with the State Disaster Response Force and all other rescue teams across the state are carrying out the task of rescuing 7,733 persons besides getting the relief materials to the needy ones. Assam Chief Minister Sarbanand Sonowal, while visiting Jonai in Dhemaji, took stock of the flood situation there and assured all possible help and support to the affected people of the state. Well, we've got Kamal Bora, our correspondent, joining us this morning. Kamal, good morning, Kamal. We've read the report that about the situation there. Has there been a change, and what is there to look forward to? We've seen almost 28 districts being affected of the 33 there. Things looking grim, but how has been the response by the state there and also the relief and rescue operations on?
Yes, Anil, the whole facts and figures in the story itself tells, can tell us the whole story, how the situation is right now here in Assam. Every day, due to incessant rainfall taking place across the state, every day new areas are getting submerged. The road communication system totally disrupted, mainly on the 37th highway. The whole stretch that goes through Kaziranga National Park is disrupted. That is why from Upper Assam to Lower Assam, Lower Assam to Upper Assam, the communication system has been disrupted. So this is the whole scenario, and more than 33 lakh people are getting affected, which is the almost about 9 to 10% of the total population of the state. So it tells the whole story. And situation is going to be grim because the rainfall might take place as per the statement released by the Met Department that in the next 72 hours, the rainfall is going to take place. Heavy rainfall is going to take place. That is why situation is still expected to, to be grim in the next few days. As far as the rescue and relief operation is concerned, yes, the NDRF along with the SDRF people and also some rescue team from the district administration are doing the gigantic task They are rescuing, they are distributing relief operations right now at a full strength. So this is how the state government is trying to lessen some of their grief, some of their sorrows of the affected people. So this is how state government is trying. There is they are leaving no stone unturned to get relief materials to the affected people.
Kamal, you take good care of yourself. We'll come back to you for more updates on the flood situation there in the state of Assam. Well, moving on, a special national investigating agency court on Tuesday issued a non-bailable warrant against Faisal Fareed, the third accused in the Kerala gold smuggling case. The agency has sought Interpol's assistance to nab him. Faisal Fareed is in the United Arab Emirates. The NIA court remanded two other accused, Swapna Suresh and Sandeep Nair, in judicial custody till 21st of July. The probe into the gold smuggling case started after a diplomatic bag containing 30 kilograms of gold was seized at the Thiruvananthapuram International Airport on the 5th of July. The cargo was addressed to the Consulate General of the UAE in Kerala. Meanwhile, an IAS officer, M. Shiv Shankar, who was removed from the post of Principal Secretary to Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan, was summoned by the Customs Department and questioned for hours in the case. Well, Ajay Joy, our correspondent tracking the story, joins us. Ajay, looking at the status of where things are moving, how do you feel this investigation going on, considering we've seen now talks between the accused and a minister there from the Pinarayi Vijayan also taking place and call records being out in the public domain?
Anil, yes, there is a multi-pronged investigation right now. NIA looking into the national security angles and customs investigation looking into how the smuggling and how large is the scope of tax evasion or not. Yesterday, M. Shivashankar, the earlier Principal Secretary to CM, was summoned by customs here in Trivandrum and was questioned for almost 9 hours continuously. And today, early morning, he was sent back home. But the information is that further action will be taken upon gathering of other incriminatory evidences. So right now, and yesterday, all records of these suspects, the accused, Sadith and Swapna, was released in public domain, and it was shown that they had called Shiv Shankar continuously around this particular time, and even one minister for higher education, Dr. K.T. Jalil, he was also called. But minister had clarified in a press conference yesterday that the call was completely as directed by Consul General of UAE. Consul General of UAE had asked Swapna to contact minister in regarding to distribution of certain food kits during the lockdown period. Yes.
Okay, Ajay. So the call clearly professional, but trouble mounting there for the Kerala government, as the call records showed a link between the key accused and the minister in that gold smuggling case. We'll leave it there. Thank you and appreciate you joining us this morning with those updates. Moving on now to some international news. US President Donald Trump said that the immigration executive order his administration was planning would be merit-based. Trump administration has agreed to revoke its July 6th rule, which temporarily barred international students from staying in the United States unless they attend at least one in-person course, a federal district court judge said. A U-turn by the Trump administration comes following a nationwide outrage against its July 6th order and a series of lawsuits filed by a large number of educational institutions. The announcement comes as a big relief to international students, including those from India. In the 2018-2019 academic year, there were over 10 lakh international students in the United States. Well, Lalit are joining us this morning from the United States. Lalit, good morning. Lalit, purely looking at this particular story, does this come as a big relief? And why is there been a U-turn by the Trump administration when this matter was before the court?
Yeah, it's a big relief for the international students, in particular those from India. You know about there are around 2 lakhs Indian students studying in various universities here. U-turn mainly because almost all the big colleges and universities have gone to court under the leadership of MIT and Harvard. 17 states and District of Columbia also filed the lawsuits. Top US companies, Google, Microsoft, Facebook, every one of them went to the court saying that what the Trump administration has done on international students is not going to help them, either the economy, either these businesses or the universities. It's also against the basic spirit of the US American culture of not welcoming international students. So in that, given all this nationwide outrage, I believe the Trump administration decided to withdraw rescind this order.
Okay, Lalit, we'll leave it there. Thank you and appreciate you joining us from Washington with those updates there on the Trump administration. Well, that's all we have time for in this edition of news. Thanks for watching. But remember to follow social distancing norms because we need to see a better tomorrow. Thanks for watching.
Namaskar, welcome to Rajya Sabha Television. I am Smriti Rastogi.